Hello viewers, this is exclusive on TVRC. I am your host for today, Olanion Kudus Oluwatobiloba is my name. And with me, I have my co-host,
Abiola Michael.
We have our lead analyst, Dr. Akintunde Somi Vincent, on set with us today. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's really nice to have you on set with us today.
Again, yes.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic, something that has been happening recently across the nation. The recent tragedy here in Ibadan and its consequent ripple effects. So we're going to be talking about a charity gone wrong. Of course, the political and economic ramification of the Ibadan Bashorun tragedy here in Nigeria. And to get started, Doctor, I would like to ask, can you please shed more light on this event that occurred recently?
Well, to dive into the question, the event happens to be a fun fiesta, and it was organized by the wife of I wouldn't call her the then wife,
Okay.
but she still bears the name of the owner of the event.
Yeah.
So organized, she's the lead organizer, and we're told that they were able to use the mouthpiece of a radio station, very popular in Ibadan. So back to actually transpires was the fact that the day, slated for the program, it was a nightmare for the organizers because people trooped in their mass. Even a day before, I think that night I passed through that same road, and I was asking some questions as what exactly is happening, what's actually happening here. And somebody told me that there's a program slated for the following day. Okay. And I said, why are they here tonight? I mean, why should all of them they left their home and they slept overnight?
So it was even crowded before the
main day. A day before
wow.
the program, before the D-Day, the field, many people slept on the field.
Over there.
Slept overnight because of them. And I asked, what's the program all about? Then we're told that it's going to be a kind of a gathering where people will come and eat and go with random selection of few kids for scholarship.
Okay.
And I asked, what kind of scholarship? Is there a scholarship that will take them from primary level to tertiary institution, or eventually grant them job?
Yes.
Because I was so baffled. I was so dumbfounded that day, considering the number of people that trooped in that night. So it's a very sudden. It's not the following morning on my way, because I used to pass that route for my morning prayer. I used to pass that same route early in the morning. As I was passing that same route, I noticed the bottleneck, the gridlock. People were trooping in mass. So it was a sudden situation that stampede eventually occurred, and we had to people lost their lives. Not even people that ought to be guided jealously were put at the forefront. And who were these people? They are the kids.
Oh God.
Were there at the forefront of the stampede, and eventually stampede occurred, and people were, in short, right before while I was actually heading back, right in the middle of the road, one boy was placed, but the mother was like, hey, help, was just crying for help here and there, and people were like, okay, use water, trying to revive the boy and everything. Eventually, I don't know if the baby survived it. You go and check the video. You will see father, mother throwing their kids through the fence.
Wow.
Through the fence, and I was asking, to what end? So it's a very devastating situation. It's a very saddened situation because people lost their lives. And even eventually, to what end? The program was cancelled eventually. People had to be told to go back to their houses. Does that bring back the lost lives? Number one. Number two, does that really bring back the number of the invested money for that program? I recall that canopies upon canopies were already on the field. Chairs upon chairs in their numbers were already on the field. you know, and you will see a manner of designs on the field. Look at the logistics, the amount of money that has actually been put into that program. That one also gone. Loss of life, loss of what's it called? Loss of properties, loss of fund. So to what end? Like I said, it's quite unfortunate that something of that magnitude actually happened that day. It's a day never to be forgotten in a hurry.
It won't be.
Thank you, Doctor, for that. And according to the news that we heard that we had about over 40 people lost their life, children lost their lives. So now let's relate it to the economy of this country. Can we say it's because of the economic downturn in Nigeria that actually caused this thing? Like, can we relate it in a way? Is it that people are hungry? Is it the poverty? Like, can you shed more light on
Well,
that?
it actually played a crucial part.
Okay.
The current situation played a crucial part. But what I noticed is what I call greed. Greed, because I don't see why you are coming for a program of such well, let's call it spade a spade. The situation in the country is already tensed.
Yes.
People ordinarily would do anything to survive, and that's actually what played out.
Yes.
That's part of what played out. But you can't say because of a situation and you not put your life at the forefront of, or you toyed with your life because of the situation in the country, or you want to play a card with your life because of what is happening in the country. That's why people have to think. You have to think, like I said, to what end. Eventually, some were saying, I remember that day when some people were saying, my husband said I should not come, my husband said I should not come. Why do you eventually made up? You now chose, why do you have to rebuke, or you have to neglect the warning of the one who put you under a roof? So like I said, you will see people coming with 10 kids, some people with 5 kids, some people with, you will see the numbers that day. And like I said, some people, it's not even because of poverty. I noticed there's this driving force driving people towards that particular area. You see, some people even drop their kids with jeep that day. So are we going to say it's because of poverty? So there are so many dynamics, so many ways, so many perspectives to this particular issue. Like I said, the Christian economic crisis is play a crucial role. But again, we have to look at this kind of awoof mentality. That this is a national, this national kick mentality. That if whatever they are sharing, they will have to get my own. So they are part of what played out also. Because if that's not part of what played out, why would you want to carry a few months old babies for a program of such magnitude? Why would you be flinging your son and daughters through the fence just because you want them to secure the space? And some people will put some people will be on the queue. We put one kid on the queue. You go and secure another queue for. You've got to be there that day to see the way the whole thing played out. It was more or less like you'll be shocked to see the way the whole things played out eventually. Like I said, economic played a crucial part, but even greed on part of the people also play a very crucial part. Some people, this national kick syndrome, this I will also, let me also eat my own mentality. Also played it about another vital point.
Oh my God, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, Doctor, I would like to ask, with regards to the Bashorun tragedy, do you think that there is a spiritual connotation to this event?
Yeah, there are some conspiracy theorists here and there. I think I will also lay credence to that fact too, because now, we are in the Hemba period.
Yes.
All manner of things happened, and we are Africans. We are not aliens to the fact that we have people who are out there to just to create a kind of a situation where people will start asking certain questions. Because like I said that day, I said people with when you look at them, you notice that people are not suffering. You will know. In short, I can say categorically that we all know that people are not. It's not as if that people are satisfied with the situation. We are satisfied with the economic problem, the situation in Nigeria. but some people can still afford to take their one or two square meal per day. That day you will see right in their faces, from their faces, from their looks, you will notice that these are not the kind of people that ordinarily that program was wired for. There are the people who are downtrodden, people from the remote part of Ibadan, but that you will see people with lovely outfits, lovely wears, eventually storming the place in their numbers.
We even learned that some persons came from even other states.
But even from other states,
secure a spot.
To what end? To the food that they are going to. It's not even they are not even giving them raw food.
I was even thinking
it is not even raw food.
Was it Funfair?
It's not raw food. It's even what's it called? A cooked food.
Cooked food.
Just get yours, eat and leave
and go.
That's all.
That is what somebody spent
a
whole lot of transportation from another state.
If by chance they are able to pick your kids, fine. If they are not able to pick your kids, you depart to your home. So like I said, now back to the spiritual link.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've just painted a picture of those who trooped to the place that day. Them, in my opinion, I think there's a force driving people towards, and it's commonsensical to say that maybe they like a wolf, and let's see how it played out in the long run. So this a wolf that whatsoever, and I'm still telling you, if they even call for another distance today,
the next day
people will still storm the place.
People that will still go.
To the extent that, do you know why I took my time to study the situation very well. I took my time. I waited for quite a while, and I was looking at the point people will eventually move out of the school. You won't believe that till evening they had been told that the program will eventually not hold again in the morning. People were still there till around 4. It took the effort of police officers to send them away from the school.
Even after the event had occurred, the deaths of children.
What sort of
and even when they were sent out, I took my time to also still study the situation. People were still loitering around, hanging around, looking at the school. I was like, the driving force must be very strong. The force, despite the fact that we had that people, they saw people lifeless.
Despite the tragedy.
Despite the tragedy, they were still there. So I noticed, I want to say that perhaps we have to start looking at it from another point of view. This kind of December period, we used to have back in time in retrospect that it's usually it's through transportation period, all those cars and everything. But now people are now beginning to understand, and the consciousness has become so strong that even now we now have a reduced number of accidents on the road. Now I think they also want to devise other means to make sure that they are able to carry out their heinous crime against humanity. But like I said, I'm not saying as an African boy, as an African guy, I just have to we have to look at it from, because what is this magnetic force, for crying out loud? That even after they were told that the event will not eventually hold, they were still there, hanging around, loitering around. It was very ridiculous. I wouldn't call it ridiculous, because I was just like, are these people, are they okay? When you knew that the program will no longer hold, why are this? It took the effort of the police officers to send so many people outside the school.
All right, thank you, Doctor. So my own question now is, what are the measures that can be put in place in order to avoid
exactly?
Well, if you're going to the measures, in my opinion, is that
is it like the organization
to fail to plan is to plan to fail, and certain things does not really give notice. Okay. For crying out loud, the woman, this is not the first time of her doing such a program.
In other states,
this won't be the first time.
Actually, yes.
But there should be a kind of a room for constant review. And people we are peculiar. We have different situations applied to different environments.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Now take a look. I was discussing with somebody recently. I said, Adam Benshi had known, she would have set up a local organization committee, LOC, that will oversee to that, and that will oversee
of everything.
And again, you have to carry out some street modalities. Is it through the internet? You have to come to allowing people to sleep overnight in that school. Shouldn't have been allowed. Everybody ought to they ought to have encouraged people to show up that on the day of the program
at a particular
time. Before you gain entrance, then you have to show your ticket. Your ticket will be the one to eventually you did the program. You will be happy. Those who are doing the program will also be happy. So I think like I said, to fail to plan is to plan to fail. So that organization is and again the channel. Honestly, I have so much regard for the man of this radio man. You know, I say, he's a man. Give it to him. He's a man of the people, and people liked him. So that's why is part of weakness because of the notice. That's why people played. I think they played him in because they use the simplicity to assess the place. Because that night, at the point in time, we heard about how eventually the gate man had to succumb to the fact that people had to sleep on the field. You know, but ordinarily, you know, is it bad for them to is the duty of the security operatives that resume the following day that will now propel them, tell them to step out of the. At least because they are there for the program. Are you going to tell them to go and sleep on the main road?
I want to even believe that there was lack of competence.
No, you won't tell them to sleep on the main road. So it's a very, like I said, it's a simplistic act. But on a good day, people are
adequate security operatives.
Yes, people ought not to be allowed to sleep on that ground that day. But since that's happened, and the next thing, the whole news lies on the security operatives to say now we want to start the program. Everybody move outside.
Yes.
But when you even look at the environment again, the venue is another kettle of fish entirely. It has a porous fence. When you see the fence, they are all porous. That's why you see fathers flinging children. Even a boy, even a child lost his or her, I think his or her lives on that, just because the woman believed that somebody would be there to catch the child. Eventually, nobody was able to catch the child, and the child hit the what's it called, and that's the end. That's the end. So, like I said, when you look at to cop something of this, number one, you have to do a review of the one you've been doing. Look at the situation of where you are going to. Have a kind of projection of what may eventually happen.
Serious assessment.
You have a plan, a proper LOC, local organization committee will tell you that this is what may eventually happen. You have to see you have to foresee you have to see the future. You have to the foreseeable. You have to foresee the foreseeable, so that you have a successful outing, and that was what I think. Because, like I said, they saw what happened the night before the program. In short, the following morning, I would have even admonished them or suggest that they say the program is cancelled already. It's cancelled, yeah. Because even they themselves, they can't even manage. They won't be able to manage the crowd.
Yes, they won't.
Wow, that's a lot. So finally, to be able to round up this session, I'd like to ask a final question before we round up. Does our government have a responsibility towards this event, this tragedy that occurred here in Bashorun, Ibadan?
They not just even Bashorun lately. One happened in I think in Okija, Anambra State.
Anambra, yes.
People died in their numbers, and again one happened in Abuja also recently. People also died in their numbers.
Of a similar event.
Yes,
right?
yes, the same palliative sharing of palliatives and everything like. So our government have a huge responsibility to play, very huge responsibility to play. Like when your policies are not wearing human look, this is what you witness. Okay, we've not had this bad in this country.
Even in
where people are lynching themselves because of cooked rice.
Come on.
Lynching them because of cooked rice, not even a raw food that will take you for like 2 or 3, 4 days. No, the one you are going to eat immediately,
right there.
Immediate food, immediate gratification. I was just asking me, does this really worth it? Losing young child,
like the future.
To nonsense. No, I wouldn't call it a nonsense anymore. But losing young child to police, to nonsense. Okay, fine, to nonsense policies. You said your policies. If the policies you are making is for the people.
Yes.
And if people are not feeling it, then it's a failure. Take a look at for how long the only viable energy that we have in this country is sold for 1,000 plus. How many people can go to their shops to go out to can afford to? How many taxis do you see on the road anymore? Travel. People are no longer traveling with their car anymore. Just because you say you want to save money for the country. Save money for who? And now even the current budget
Trillions of naira.
one of the large chunk of the money is to use to service debt that you guys are they keep, they never stop borrowing. They are still borrowing. They never stop borrowing. Deficit here and there. So what I'm saying is, the government has a whole lot of responsibility. One of the responsibilities is to look at the yearnings and to look at the situation, holistically, and see how can we create wealth how can we create a good environment for people to thrive, to thrive on, or to thrive to whichever way. Okay, when the situation is becoming very tense, people can no longer do their businesses. SMSC, they are all closing up, and that's the strength of Nigeria. When you go to America, when you go to the US, their strength is in industry, and that's why they used to pump money into their industry. When you go to Germany, their strength is in their tech. That's why the likes of Volkswagen, the likes of, they are all still standing till date, because they pump a whole lot of money into that particular sector, and that's why you talk about the German machine. But when you come to Nigeria, even graduates, if the job is not forthcoming, graduate to create something, and then we create something. We not sit down at home idle. We look at we have graduates who are selling teas, graduates who are selling bread, graduates who are doing that's what is driving our economy in this country.
Yes.
Small, medium, and scale enterprises,
yes,
SMSC. But all of a sudden, the energy that ought to help to drive the SMSC to make it's not becoming very expensive. How much is it? The graduate that does not have enough capital to start a business, that says she should come and pay, or he or she should come and pay to be buying petroleum of 10,000 naira every day, or petrol PMS of 20,000 naira in 2 days to come and how is he going to cope? How is she going to cope? So look at it's not affordable. Sometimes even the availability, you have to trek distance before you could get the one that is working. Some first instance they've actually closed down. Okay, now we are saying it's coming down from 1,000, 1,150, 1,200. It's still sold for 1,150. It's still the same price. What is coming down? The FX, the foreign exchange policy, is nothing to write home about. As dollar being able to move beyond the 1,500 for quite a while now. No. It decided it's not from it moved to 1,700. We were all crying out, it's up. It dropped to 1,005. Then it's still the same 1,005 to date. Is it making any sense that your dollar to your currency is for 1,500? So the point is, when you look at all these policies, you have to do a policies that are people centered, policies that are people oriented. What is wrong with us creating industry in all the 6 geopolitical zones? People will be the one to eventually finance and to maintain the industry that can conveniently employ 5,000 youths. We have 6 geopolitical zones. Multiply 5,000 by 6 geopolitical zones. Imagine the number of graduates you'll be engaging. What is wrong with giving loans to graduates who wants to do 1 or 2 businesses? These are policies that I think we ought to be that we should be clamoring for. Look at our production, very terrible. What are we producing? And now, as a country, you are importing everything. Everything you are importing, you are not producing anything. What are we producing in this country? Even the ones that are doing little, we are sending them away because the energy cost is becoming abyssal, very abyssal. So, like I said, it's a whole lot of problem. And if the government is not careful, if this incumbent government is not careful, I don't know. I don't want to be a prophet of doom. But me, I am an optimist. But in my level of optimism, I think the right things need to be done. If not, we keep on, shouting and making a whole lot of this kind of saying the same thing over and over and over again. So, like I said, we have to encourage production. It was not the same administration that now want to talk about tax reform, that is talking about taxation. Why are you taxing the people? Taxing them for what? But we have to look at how we can encourage production, how we can encourage the SMSC, and how we can make their energy, how we can make it affordable, how we can make it available. And if we're able to do all this, I tell you most solemnly that Nigeria will check back and we become the chant of Africa that we've always been.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Wow,
That's a
that
lot.
was amazing. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much. There you have it, viewers. We've been able to address the issue of the Bashorun Ibadan tragedy, which occurred recently. We've been able to talk about how it occurred, the spiritual connotation of the event, of course, measures that could have been put in place to ensure that the tragedy wouldn't have happened at all, as well as, the responsibility of the government towards making sure that this event never repeats itself again. So, I hope you had a very amazing time. Thank you, Doctor, once again for making our time to come and address this issue with us here on set today. I remain your humble host, Olaniyan Kudus Oluwatobiloba, and my co-host today with me,
Abiola Michael.
Till next time.
Bye
Take care.
Now.